Zhu Yuan is our next S-rank banner character, coming out on July 24th. But how will she compare to Ellen and the current teams in the game? Is she as broken as everyone says? Let's break this down in today's video. We are going to discuss everything about Zhu Yuan, from her kit all the way to her best builds. Grab yourself some donuts, for no particular reason, and let's do this. Zhu Yuan is a team leader of the Criminal Investigation Special Response Team in New Eridu Public Security. Yeah, try saying that a few times fast. Brand new to the full launch of the game, she even has her own dedicated chapter in the story. I won't spoil anything here, but it features some other units in her branch, and is pretty interesting. This is also a fantastic way for us to use her in a trial period and see how cracked she will actually be. Zhu Yuan is an S-rank Ether attribute attack unit with a Pierce style. Her kit revolves around the concept of enhanced shot shells and two different stances, or modes. Enhanced shot shells are the resource that Zhu Yuan wants and uses. These enhance some of her attacks, which we'll discuss in great detail when we do break down each move. These shot shells are restored through EX special attack, chain attack, ultimate, and assist follow-ups. The two modes are called assault mode and suppressive mode. The only thing we have to remember here is depending on which mode you're in, Zhu Yuan's basic attack and dash attack will feature different abilities and bonuses. When first entering a combat scenario, she will default to the assault mode. Zhu Yuan's basic attack is called Don't Move. She will unleash a flurry of martial arts bullets and ether buckshots in up to 5 attacks. These will deal a mix of physical and ether damage. After the 5th hit, she will obtain 1 enhanced shot shell. Things get a little bit more interesting from there. While using this basic attack, if you hold a direction on the joystick and press the button again, you will activate a dash attack called Firepower Offensive, and then the character will face that direction. Simply put, this just means that your basic attack will go straight into your dash attack, no matter what mode you're in. While under the assault mode, you can hold down the button to switch to suppressive mode. In this new suppressive mode, the basic attack becomes Please Do Not Resist. Zhu Yuan will unleash up to 3 shot shell piercing attacks that deal physical damage. If she has enhanced shot shells, 1 charge will be consumed, dealing massive ether damage. Similar to the assault mode variant, she can hold the direction with the joystick to activate dash attack Overwhelming Firepower. Releasing the button will return back to assault mode. Since her dash attacks are also very important as we've seen, let's next discuss the dodge mechanics, and then we'll summarize it all so it makes a little bit more sense. Both dash attacks are variants that can be extended from their respective basic attacks. Dash attack Firepower Offensive is the assault mode variant, and Zhu Yuan will use her handgun to attack, dealing physical damage. Dash attack Overwhelming Firepower is the suppressive mode variant. This will unleash 1 shot shell piercing attack, dealing physical damage. If you have an enhanced shot shell, 1 charge will be consumed, and the attack will deal massive ether damage instead. Basically, if you're in the suppressive mode, you want to be using those enhanced shot shells to pull that massive ether damage. If you have her chain attack called Eradication mode, she'll fire a bunch of lasers and missiles to deal massive ether damage and restore 3 enhanced shot shells. Alright, we're through the thick of it. If you have any questions regarding anything we just talked about, ask in the comments below and I'll try to answer each one that I can. For now, let's move on to her special attack, Buckshot Blast. Zhu Yuan will shoot ether buckshots, dealing ether damage, and this can be repeated 3 times by pressing the button repeatedly. Her anti-interrupt will also be increased while using the skill. The EX special form of this attack is called Full Barrage. It shares a lot of the same properties as the attack without energy, but a couple more caveats. The attack will deal massive ether damage and restore 3 enhanced shot shells. She's also fully invulnerable while using the skill. Zhu Yuan's ultimate is called Max Eradication mode and features a very cool cinematic ult followed by the same effects as her chain attack, restoring 3 enhanced shot shells and dealing massive ether damage. We're finally at the last part of Zhu Yuan's kit, and then we can discuss the value of these characters and as a free-to-play player. Her core skills and passives are very important for building her properly as well as making a solid team. Her first passive is called Special Ops Ammunition, and it states this: while in the suppressive mode, using enhanced shot shells will increase her damage by 20%. This will increase by another 20% when attacking stunned enemies. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if this gets nerfed a little bit, because that is crazy. Zhu's additional passive is called Tactical Coordination. When another character in your squad is Ether or also from the Criminal Investigation Special Response Team faction, she will gain further buffs. Mainly, her crit rate will be enhanced by a whopping 30% for 10 seconds after she uses an EX special, chain attack, or her ultimate. In a nutshell for Zhu Yuan, she's going to take some time practicing her rotation to maintain those enhanced shot shells, but after you do master keeping the resource and switching between those modes, you'll really optimize her potential. So how good is Zhu Yuan actually? Based on the rotations of her wanting those enhanced shot shells and insane damage boosts in the suppressive state, her damage output is very high. As the only Ether DPS limited unit, she will naturally have an edge over the rest of the cast, excluding maybe Ellen for certain content. But let's look at this a tiny bit further. A lot of the endgame content is slanted towards Ether and Ice weakness, which is of course a major selling point for her. In fact, for Shiyu Defense level 10, you need one Ice team and one Ether team in order to have the best chance. Seeing as how the only other Ether unit we have is Nicole Damara, Ether attribute's going to be a little dry for a while. In the same token, Zhu Yuan is also alone from her team currently, although the others have been shown or announced, so we will be getting them very soon. However, this really means that Zhu Yuan, as good as she is now, still has a lot of room to grow and get better. As more units release, her strength and team synergies will increase by a lot. As for these team synergies, the main thing to discuss here will be her best partner, Nicole Damara. As the only other Ether unit to match Zhu Yuan's core passive, she is a must-run in a Zhu Yuan team. Luckily, she is free to everyone, so acquiring her is very easy. This will of course make sure that her passive is met, granting that 30% crit rate for 10 seconds after using those certain moves in her kit. An absolutely insane boost for relatively free. When more units of her faction come out, they will naturally be very good synergistic units for Zhu Yuan, and she doesn't particularly have a good third unit to pair with yet. For now though, running her with another support, like Rina in particular, or a stun unit is probably the best option here. Let's also briefly discuss how valuable this banner is going to be for Zhu Yuan, since it also features Nicole Damara, who her best partner is, and Ben Bigger. This is probably an even more valuable banner than Ellen's was. If you've seen my tier list video, you already know how good Ben Bigger and Nicole Damara are. By the same token, having those respective W engines for Nicole and Ben are vast improvements over the next best options. The Vault and Big Cylinder are the two W engines in question, and they're both really good. Now let's discuss the best options for building Zhu Yuan, starting with W engines. Her best in slot will of course be the Riot Suppressor Mark 6. This insane W engine will increase ether damage by 25%. Launching an EX special attack grants the equipper 8 charge stacks, stacking up to 8 times. Whenever the equipper's basic attack or dash attack deals ether damage, this will consume a charge stack and increase the skill damage by 45% more. Basically, this is just a free 45% damage boost whenever she does ether damage, plus a 25% ether damage boost just base. Sticking with the S ranks, the second best option for Zhu Yuan is going to be the Brimstone. When Zhu Yuan hits a basic attack, dash attack, or dodge counter, her attack will increase by 3.5%, for 8 seconds, stacking up to 8 times. This effect can trigger once every half a second, and the duration of each stack is calculated separately. Basically what all of that means is she's going to have a very strong attack boost, pretty much with 100% uptime. Now let's move on to the A rank options, starting with the Battle Pass 1 Cannon Rotor. This will increase her attack by 7.5%, and any attacks that land a crit will deal an additional 200% of their attack as damage, being triggered once every 8 seconds. Since this is a Battle Pass 1, in order to S5 it, you're going to have to keep getting that level 30 pass, but compared to the utility of the other W engines in the past, this is probably the best one. Now for a budget A rank option, I would choose Street Superstar. Whenever a squad member launches a chain attack, the equipper, Zhu Yuan, gains a charge stack up to 3 times. When she activates her ultimate, the equipper will consume all charge stacks, and each stack increases the ultimate's damage by 15%. So really an optimal game gameplay or bossing situations, it's going to be doing a 45% damage increase on Zhu Yuan's ultimate. These are my personal recommendations in order of what W engines I would use on Zhu Yuan, and my current plan is to spend every single polychrome that I have on both her character and her W engine banners because they're so valuable. Now let's move on to building her disk drives. Her personal best in slot will be the 4-piece of Chaotic Metal, increasing her ether damage by 10% and her crit damage by 20. But wait, there's more. When any character in the squad, mainly Nicole Damara, triggers Corruption's additional damage, the effect will further increase by 5.5% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 6 more times. Each time you trigger it will reset the duration. Basically, this is over an additional 30% crit damage boost for Zhu Yuan. For 2 pieces with this, you have a few options. Puffer Electro will increase her pen ratio by 8%, Hormone Punk will increase her attack by 10%, and Woodpecker Electro will increase her crit rate by 8%. I wouldn't really recommend using the 4-piece of Puffer Electro or Hormone Punk, but alternatively you can use the 4-piece of Woodpecker Electro and the 2-piece of Chaotic Metal. This will still give you the ether damage by 10%, the crit rate by 8%, with a little added bonus. Triggering a critical hit with basic attack, dodge counter, or EX special increases the equipper's attack by 9% for 6 seconds. The buff duration for different skills are calculated separately. While this is of course still a really good option, that 4-piece Chaotic Metal is still going to give you a little bit more bang for your buck, especially when we get another ether unit to team up with Nicole and Zhu Yuan. As for main stats on the relics, for slot 4, use crit rate or crit damage, whichever one you need more. Slot 5 should be ether damage, although you can get pen ratio in a pinch, and slot 6 should be attack percent. Substat priority is about the same. Focus on crit rate, crit damage first, then penetration ratio, then attack percent. A quick note about our little cute helper friends, the Bang Boos. Rizanabu is her best in slot, basically saying when there's 2 or more ether attribute characters, the chain attacking will inflict 100% more corruption buildup. If you don't have Rizanabu, then you have to be using Devil Boo, who's basically the only other good option. Of course, Devil Boo will also help with that anomaly buildup of corruption. It's now finally time to answer the question of which is better, pulling for her W engine or her Mindscape level 1. As a quick reminder, Riot Suppressor Mark 6 will increase her ether damage by 25% and will gain 8 charge stacks, stacking up to 8 times when she uses EX Special. These charge stacks are consumed when she gets a 45% skill damage increase to her basic or dash attack. Her Mindscape 1 is called Quick Reload. When Zhu Yuan hits an enemy with chain attacks or ultimates, she gains this effect. When she uses up all her enhanced shot shells with this effect equipped, she will instantly gain 6 or 9 enhanced shot shells, depending on how many you have, right back. While ultimates are a bit slow to accumulate that decibel rating of 3000, chain attacks happen very frequently. In this sense, using Zhu Yuan the last in the chain attack is going to be her best idea because she will be able to basically use 12 or 18 shot shells right in a row with the quick reload effect, increasing her damage by a lot. Not to mention it's a really good quality of life buff for her since she can be in that suppressive state a lot longer. But is it better than Riot Suppressor? I would personally argue yes, depending on what kind of content you're trying to do. Bossing, Hollow Zero, and Shiyu defense are very focused on those breaks and those chain attacks. In that regard, Mindscape 1 is definitely the better choice. But there's also a caveat here. Riot Suppressor Mark 6 is going to have more longevity than Talent Level 1 will. Think of it this way. The W engine gives more overall damage to Zhu Yuan. In the future, as those top tier teams and meta shifts, this will probably be the better choice. If we do eventually get away from the stun heavy chain attack focus, which I highly suspect we will, I would much rather have her best in slot W engine. Of course, this section has really just been my thoughts, and I would love to hear what you guys think about this in the comments below. In review, Zhu Yuan is an absolutely broken unit and will dominate most of the game when she releases in a week. Even though she is quite powerful, she isn't even at her peak on release. Zhu Yuan will be very future-proof in this regard, getting better as more of her team and units are released. Her kit will focus greatly on switching between assault and suppressive mode and utilizing that main resource, enhanced shot shells, properly. As for her team synergies right now, the main thing will be running her with Nicole, Damara, and either another support or stun unit. I'm personally going to be using Anby as my third. Build-wise, she's pretty simple and transparent as are most attack units, and there's plenty of great choices for W engines and good picks for disk drives. And that's really all you need to know for Zhu Yuan, everything from her kit all the way to the best build. Let me know what you think about Zhu Yuan and if you're going to be pulling for her in the comments. If you enjoyed or found this guide helpful, make sure to like the video because it really does help, and I love making this kind of content for all of you. Also, let me know how I can improve this guide for next time, as I want to keep doing this for each new character, as well as the old ones if I can. For now though, make sure to subscribe for plenty more Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, and other Gacha content. I hope you're all as excited as I am for Zhu Yuan and the future of Zenless, but for now, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, all it takes is one pull. Bye for now.